What's going on YouTube? Welcome to episode 183 of the U.S.S. Enterprise D tutorial. I'm Zero Elite and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And new subscribers, don't forget to join the Discord. I'll have a link below. Right now I have a contest going on. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But today we've got not a super long episode, about 19 minutes. We're going to be picking up where we left off in episode 182 when we started working on our park. As you can see, I've taken the liberty to do a couple of the monotonous things off camera. So I completed the steps that we had started on the right side with our layering with the walls. And you can see that it's going up. I think that's either 4 or 5 blocks, and then it goes in, and then it does another pattern, I think of 4 or 5, and then it goes in, and I think the top row is another 4 or 5 blocks with the very lip being edged off with half slabs. I used that template based off of the corridors that are going around. I just wanted to give the room a little bit more curvature. On the left side, I just walled it off going straight up. And then as you can see going along the ceiling, we just did half slabs going all the way around. And then the ceiling itself, we did a sky blue concrete block to give the impression that there's a nice blue sky looking above. And then on our floor, I filled in grass in the center here, and the sides here, we can't fill that in with grass because that's outer hull of the ship. So a nice workaround for that is using the carpeting. Now, I ended up going along the pattern of the sea lanterns on the floor here, and I left the sea lanterns uncovered, and then one row of white quartz going behind it. And then I just continued that pattern going all the way around. Reason for that, this is going to be our walkway going back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this. We're just going to be filling in our park today. So first thing, let's get in a walkway. We're using carpeting. And you might ask, well, on this part right here, why don't you just, use regular blocks in the floor and replace the grass? And the reason for that is I just want everything to be seamless. So for this part at least, it's all just going to be the carpeting, the gray carpeting, so it gives a nice impression that there's a little bit of a walkway that brings you all the way back. This is a room that was never shown on Next Generation, but it was something that they talked about from time to time. There might have been a few more times that they brought it up, but the only time that I really recall is the episode when Barclay mustered up the courage to ask out Deanna Troi on a date, and he wanted to take her for a walk through the park. Other than that, they never mentioned the park on the Enterprise D, as far as what I'm aware of. But that's one of the good reasons of watching this show, to give you ideas of stuff to do, because even if it's not something that they show, if you pay attention and listen to the conversations that they're having, they might mention areas on the ship to help inspire you to build out some additional areas to kind of flesh out your ship a little bit more. I wasn't going to add a park, because we've already got the farm/park that's directly across from the mess hall that we made. But the more I started thinking about it, is that wasn't necessarily a traditional park, and I wanted to make something that was a little bit over the top. I wanted to make a massive room to, again, help sell the fact just how big the ship is on the inside. And then also in doing so, helping us take up just a little bit more room on that interior also, because even after we're done with this tutorial, we're going to have a ton of room left over on the Enterprise D. Because as you guys know, I lost the save file for it when I switched over to my new Xbox. And it is what it is. I probably could have put another year easy into finishing up the Enterprise. And it sucks because I can't even do a tour video right now because I have no save to go into to do that. But I do have a workaround for it, and I want to talk about that now because I guess you could call it. I wouldn't necessarily call it a contest. It's going to be a video showcase that I'm doing on the Discord, and anybody that's trying to enter in this, I'm just letting you know now, the only way that you can enter into this is if you join the Discord and add your video under the Enterprise D video showcase. When you join the Discord, and I will have a link in the description below, you'll see the tab on Discord to click on that. There are a few things that you're going to have to mind when you're posting these videos. You know, my overall goal is the closest videos matching my tutorial will be selected to create a full tour of the tutorial build. The requirements are simple. Post your clips in the channel, however, be sure to only do one video per selected clip that you're posting. Perfect example. Video 1 will be the exterior of the ship, or the bridge, or engineering. But basically what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take videos where they're showing multiple areas of the ship, because it'll make it a little bit harder, or I'll have to go in and edit it out. So that's kind of why I'm trying to do that the way that I am. So if that's something that you're interested in and you're really happy with how your Enterprise D came out, please go on the Discord, post your videos so that we can try to get a nice tour of this thing. And any video that is selected, I'll make sure that I'm going to have a huge shout out for everybody involved. And I honestly, I won't be able to thank you guys enough for helping me out with this, because without it, we won't be able to do a tour of the Enterprise D. And to be honest with you, I think that would be a shame, because I've spent well over a year working on this thing. I really want to have a tour video so that I can show new subscribers what the finished product looks like, so that they can really get a really nice grasp of what they're getting themselves into. So be sure to check that out. I hope that you guys will enter and help me out with that. We are starting to get to the tail end of the tutorial series on the Enterprise D. There's only a few episodes left. I think we're only going up to episode 187. Now that's after all the editing and everything and clipping videos together. I'm pretty certain that episode 187 is going to be the final one, not counting a tour video if I'm able to get enough video clips from people within the community of the tutorial. So once we're done with the Enterprise D, we're going to start doing Voyager. Now I think that there is going to be a little bit of a slight gap in between when Voyager starts. I want to take just a tiny bit of a break, because I've been doing just the Enterprise D alone for well over a year, and want a chance to recharge. Now with that being said, some of you might be thinking like, oh, he's going to be leaving forever. No. If anything, it might end up being maybe about a month that I won't have new videos out, at least for Minecraft. But once I get the Voyager build up to the point where I have the exterior completed, then we'll jump right into that. But I don't want to rush into it, you know. Slow and steady wins the race, and I think what I'm going to end up doing to kind of help prepare people for this is that I'm going to start shifting my tutorials into seasons. So Enterprise D, you could, even though it's not, well, technically the Disco Era Enterprise would have been Season 1. The Cerritos would be Season 2. Enterprise D would be Season 3. So technically we are getting ready to go into our 4th season of videos, which will be coming up with Voyager. And I'm really looking forward to it. You know, this is going to be a community build request. This is, other than the Enterprise D, this is my highest request, besides Enterprise A retrofit tutorial, and that's coming too. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, and we're creeping up on that number. Once we get to 1,000, we'll be doing a tutorial for that. But right now, Voyager is in my immediate crosshairs, so that's the one I'm looking forward to doing. But you know, with that being said, if there's a ship that or a build that you guys really want to see me do, be sure to go on the Discord and go under build suggestions, so this way you can post your build suggestion for people to see and they can upvote it. I think that'll be fantastic, and we're going to kind of play it by ear and see what the community wants. And in between here and there, these builds, I'll have some of my own passion projects that I'm going to be doing. And there's a couple of ships that I'm eyeing that were in Picard Season 2 that I'm going to be building. And I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, getting back into a little bit what we got going on here, you can see that we've had like a nice mountain that we've made in the background. We're turning that into a waterfall because we want to have that nice over-the-top payoff to walking all the way to the back of the park. And now we're going to put in some trees and some plants to kind of sprucing the place up a little bit. Now you have to be careful because some of these trees you won't be able to plant in here because you might have enough space. But the oak sapling, oh no, the spruce sapling was working out pretty good. So we might just use the spruce sapling on the actual park and call it a day with that. Now, everything that I'm doing here right now, this is all up for change. Dealer, as far as I'm concerned with this dealer's choice, I'm just trying to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do with the interior on your Enterprise D to kind of liven it up just a little bit more. It would make sense when you really think about it that not everybody is going to want to take advantage of the holodeck. You're always going to have those people that that they're like, well, I want to experience it for real. And I got that idea, ironically enough, from the movie Aliens, because there was a scene in that movie, like in the beginning, where Ripley wakes up and she's in this park, and as you zoom out, you can see that it's an artificial park and she's actually on a space station. So it makes perfect sense that they would have stuff like that, because people would get homesick. They maybe get cabin fever from being in space for so long. They need stuff like this to kind of keep their sanity alive. And I think that this is honestly, it's fun to do stuff like this when you get to add in things that you're thinking outside the box and things that you can do. There were other things that I wanted to do on the Enterprise D, and if I hadn't lost a save file, I think we would have had the opportunity to do it. But when I started the tutorial, I had the idea of I wanted to make it feel more like a city, like adding in playgrounds, schools, maybe like a town hall, things like that, because there's 1,000 families living on board that they're not enlisted within Starfleet, they're civilians. And the Enterprise D is basically a giant city in space. So that's something to take into consideration too. There's a lot of cool things that I think people can do with the Enterprise D, and even though it wasn't shown in the show, when you consider the classification of the Galaxy class, I think it's something that you can get away with. So I say go for it, make it your own, have fun. And if somebody tells you it's outside of continuity, ask them to show you a picture otherwise, because you're not going to see it. That's just kind of the way it is. All right, so we've got some of our trees in place. Now we're going to throw some plants down. And it's just going to kind of be random. We're just going to throw plants here and there. Like I said, just to kind of liven it up just a little bit. We've got a nice waterfall. We've got a nice little lake in here. I wouldn't say lake. I guess it's more of a pond. Now we need to cover up our sea lanterns here. All right. We're in pretty good shape right now. To be honest with you, we could maybe take out one or two of the trees. I don't think that would affect it too much. Or if you think it looks good, add in as many trees as you want. Again, make this build your own. We want to add in just a nice variety of plants, you know, throw down a couple of mushrooms. Those will spread out like wildfire. Alright, so now we're going to add in some of this tall grass weeding on the mountain here just to make it look a little bit more lively. What you could even do too is maybe throw in some vines going down the side of the mountain. That wouldn't look bad either. Alright, I think we're getting ready to add in some jungle leaf blocks in just a second here. And the jungle leaves is going to help us out quite a bit because it's going to add in just an extra layer of green in the room that we don't presently have anywhere other than the floor. And you'll see what I mean when we get a little bit more of this up, but we're going to use this to kind of brighten up our little waterfall here, and then just the room itself in general. That's looking pretty good. Alright, and now we're going to add it going along this cut line here. Now, I'm directly taking this from again, we're reusing our design cues. So we did this in the mall. So we're just taking that design cue now, and we're bringing it over to another room. So I said, where you, if you start to create those design cues, you know, bring them over because it's going to help add that extra layer of cohesiveness throughout your ship where things match up. Definitely want that to happen. You don't want to have a lot of randomness. You want your, you know, ship to feel like it's all one giant ship instead of individual rooms that weren't planned out with the rest of it. You know what I mean? So we're doing up 2 rows up and we're going with our cut line, and we're just going to bring that all the way back. That's looking pretty good. Now I think we're going to go to the next cut line up, and I think we're going to do 1 row first and see how that looks. We might add a second row. We'll have to see how it looks. We'll come back to it in just a second. Let's finish getting this first row down to see how that comes out. Alright, so I think we're just going to go into adding the 2. I thought we were going to stop and look at that. Might have been thinking of another point when I was reviewing the video first. But, you know, again, you know, make this your own. If you think that this is too much, take a row away. If you think that you need more, add more to it. You know, make it your own. I definitely think that livens up the room quite a bit. Even though it's not so natural, I think it works. I think it works just fine. Now what we could do is maybe add a hedge going along the left side wall here on the ground level. That might not be bad. Oh, messed up. Gotta fix that. And again, we're just going to go with a cut line. We're going to get rid of our carpeting. We're going to add a nice hedge on the left side here. And we're just going to bring this all the way back. Alright, now we're going to add another row. That'll go a little bit faster now that we got our foundation block down. Okay, let's see how that looks. I think that looks pretty good. Doesn't look perfect, but you know, again, this is just to give you an idea of some things that you could do. The one and only thing that I think with this room and also the deflector control room, I could have picked some maybe better colors here instead of the white, because it doesn't feel fully like a TNG room. That white terracotta, that cream here that we have for a door frame, I think that might have helped. That would help maybe in making it feel more like a Galaxy class or a ship in the Next Generation era. And I kind of wish I had added a little bit more of that to this room than just the flat white. But again, I'm my own worst critic, so I'm always going to call out the stuff that I think that I could have done a little bit better. And I think that's definitely one of those things. But with that being said, for the purpose that the room is going to serve, I think that we've hit all the marks that we need to hit on this. I think it looks pretty good. You know, it's just meant to come through and see some trees, maybe a waterfall, and that's it. And call it a day. We move on to the next thing. But I think that is going to wrap us up today. I just want to thank you again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. It helps me get seen on YouTube, and it helps with my analytics. Also, if you have any questions regarding today's episode or just dropping by to say hey, be sure to drop a comment below or in Discord. Definitely love hearing from everybody. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Or what did you make in general on here? Let me know in the comments section.